Canada's solution to climate change is taxing Canadians, increasing tax. And the whole pitch, how they wrap it up, right? They wrap it up and they deliver it to people is, let's just say, theoretically, you pay an additional $2,000 a year in this carbon tax, which is fuel, home heating, gas, groceries, alcohol taxes increasing, right? Now, the distribution, we're not even going to talk about that, but the distribution system also has to pay higher carbon tax. So then we're getting almost double or triple the amount of what the carbon tax is, because the distribution system pays their increase and then it comes down on the consumers because they upsell it for more profit. So yay, we're getting screwed left, right, and center. But how they package it and deliver it to a lot of people is you pay $2,000 in tax per year, theoretically, and you get $5,000 in rebates back. Now, the actual amount, the percentage of how much you pay versus how much you get back hasn't ever really been disclosed, but they keep saying you're going to get back more what you pay. And I know what I'm about to say is not a popular opinion, but CTV in this video does a good job of questioning the minister, Stephen Guilbeault, who's the head honcho who's running this whole carbon tax. Let's take a look at what they have to say. I'm sorry, it's CTV. I know we don't like them, but just watch it, okay?
Minister, respectfully, I'm looking at the PBO's report right now, and he goes through each quintile of the income brackets. In Alberta, each and every quintile will see a net loss. In Saskatchewan, all but the very lowest income, and the same in Manitoba. So I take your point that it is progressive. But in those instances, in those provinces, it's only those at the lowest part of the income scale that will see any net benefit. Everybody else, and certainly those in the second income bracket, are not exactly, the richest of Canadians. And once again, when your government said what this program was intended to accomplish, it made a promise to Canadians that they wouldn't be out of pocket for it. If a majority of Canadians are, and I'm not saying that the merits of the program, I'm not debating the merits of carbon pricing in this. I'm just trying to ask you if you understand why there are Canadians right now who are facing such tough financial times, who are saying, can you put a pause on this? Can you help us out? Because it isn't like the rebates are covering it all.
Well, we're doing a number of other things, Vashi, to help Canadians and to support Canadians through the transition to a lower carbon future, like a program to help people to get off home heating oil, which is much more expensive, much more polluting than using heat pumps, for example. So we're working with a number of jurisdictions across.
I have to pause it because he's missing the entire point. The point of what CTV is saying is people are poor. They're out of money. You're asking them to spend more money to make things easier. And that concept inherently isn't bad if you remove it from this whole carbon ideology and you apply it to something else. Sometimes you have to take one step backwards to take 2 or 3 steps forwards. Everyone understands and can agree that in some part of life or different parts of life that actually makes sense. But if you already are paycheck to paycheck and you don't have enough savings to pay for these upfront costs, or you just don't have enough money to do these switches or pay this increased tax, well, you're going further into debt, further into poverty. So the whole idea of taking one step back when people are already multiple steps backwards to then potentially have the ability to take a leap forward doesn't apply when it comes to people's finances. It just doesn't work. What's going to happen? Crime's going to increase because more and more people get pushed into poverty. Break and enters are going to increase. There's going to be more theft. There's going to be more vandalism. There's going to be more outrage. And it's certain that not a liberal government is going to win because people are having less money, which means more people are being pushed into poverty, which means there's more anger, more resentment towards the government. So if their plan with the carbon tax is to have a conservative majority at the next election, then they're on track because people they can only be pushed so far. And I think that there's a big delusion from the Liberals, and it's showing right here that we see with this one policy that they just don't get it.
Country to do that. And as you said in the introduction about the parliamentary budget officer, I mean, he acknowledges that he doesn't take into account the cost of the impacts of climate change. And let me give you just one example. Summer of 2021 in British Columbia, the overall economic impact of natural catastrophes, that year alone, in British Columbia alone, $17 billion. This is a bill that all Canadians are paying. And that's 1 year, one jurisdiction in Canada.
I get all that, and I'm not negating it, but that isn't what you told Canadians carbon pricing would be. You didn't say it's going to cost you, but we'll do all this other stuff to help you. You said our rebates will cover you.
We have said that the rebates would help the people most in need in Canada, and that's exactly what the system is doing.
I think that my analogy, which I just made up on the spot right now while recording this, that it is the Liberals are expecting people to take 1 or 2 steps back to then take a giant leap forward. I think that's the most accurate example of what this carbon tax is. It would be great through managing money in a different way, allocating money, allocating the pot of money that comes in from our taxpayers' money to better our country. But it's hard to do that when, I don't know, we donate billions to Ukraine, we're sending money here, we're sending money there, instead of applying it to, I don't know, our own country. So if they really want to tackle climate crisis, climate change, well, there's already a lot of money to do that we're already paying taxes. You don't have to drain people more. And I know climate change, there's a lot of controversy with that, and I'm not necessarily on board with the idea of tackling the weather with taxes. I think it's ridiculous. I think that they're not going to win. This isn't going to benefit the Liberals in any sort of way, because one thing that you just can't push people to, you can mess with people's time. You can string people along and they'll be upset. But when you drain their finances, that's the one thing where people are like, no, I can't pay rent. I can't pay my mortgage. I can't eat food. So I'm going to go and take it. Once I get pushed to that limit, I'm going to go and do what I have to do because it's fight or flight. And we're going to see that it's already happening. We're already seeing a lot of people in that mode. So I'll pass the question off to you. Are you able to afford this? Are you able to realistically afford an increase in tax, 10, 15% across the board, whatever the carbon tax is really doing to Canadians? Or is this going to push you to something that you didn't know you were capable of? Because it's very scary that they're just that oblivious. But anyways, on a lighter note, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free to do so. Helps the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by subscribing right there. It's absolutely free. If you'd like to watch another video, you could do so by clicking or tapping right there. And if you'd like to watch House of Commons highlights clips, I have a second channel called House of Canada, and that would be right there. I've made it super easy. And if you'd like to take it a step further, there's a membership program. You can do so by financially contributing. It's up to you. There's a join button down below, as well as in the description. There's a link to join the memberships. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.